Well, this is the first Charger dash assembly that I've actually built here. I'm still a greenhorn at this, as Mark likes to call me. Likes to call me a lot of things, greenhorn one of them. So I actually learned a whole lot in the process of building these things for the first time. Once this Charger dash is all built out, it is a really cool piece.
So one of the things that's beginning to happen is you'll notice a little bit of the structure's changed in Graveyard Carz from, you know, spending almost an episode showing you how a heater box maybe went together. We have so many cars, we just have to move them through the shop now. We're behind, everybody knows it. People that have cars here knows that we're always struggling to get out from being behind the 8-ball on it. But Brian did a remarkable job up to where we are now.
This car is a Hemi tribute car, so technically it should not have air conditioning, meaning you couldn't get AC with a Hemi ever. However, since it was a dream car build, we were able to get a retrofit compressor from Classic Auto Air. We were able to marry it to all of the factory AC components in and under the dash. So all Chargers actually had 150 mile/hour speedometer, or speedo, but not all Chargers had a tick-tock-tack, so we added that. We also added an 8-track AM stereo with 3-speaker dash. All of the trim panels and knobs were replaced with new ones from Classic Industries. The AC registers and ducting is actually all factory Mopar, so I had to carefully restore those pieces. I say carefully because most of these pieces are rigid plastic, and now they're over 50 years old. So like people and my boss, they get a little more fragile with age. However, if you take your time and are really careful, they can come out great. Once the dash was built out, I installed all of the wiring harnesses. The main harness we bought new from Classic Industries. But there's actually a lot of auxiliary harnesses that go into these dashes, and like the AC harness and the radio harness, which you can't get new, so we reached out to Tony's Parts to get those for us. I think this dash came out really nice, and I am so glad to have a Charger dash under my belt now.
You've got all the other functions working.
Yes.
So you did run through a complete systems check on everything else on it.
Absolutely.
The owner wanted a fully functional R22, which is the sales code for an AM 8-track stereo. We had the 8-track rebuilt and restored. What we want to know is if it works.
It's $1 million question.
So Brian came up to me with some Boz Scaggs crap tape and says, "Hey, I want to try out that 8. Don't you put a Boz Scaggs in there."
Shuffle. Come on now. What you got? The Stones, baby.
Got a little bit of Rolling Stones. When I was growing up, my uncle, Uncle Wayne, loved the Rolling Stones. Loved them. Just thought they were the greatest thing in the world. So he kind of turned me on to the music. I fell in love with it too, right? How do you not, right? It's the Stones. So every 2 weeks when I would get paid, I'd go to Everybody's Records, downtown Eugene, and I would start buying the tapes that they had. Now at a certain point, you're out of them and you gotta wait for the new ones to come out. But over a course of a couple of years, I had what my memory says, all of the tapes up to that time, which I was gonna say probably 1978, so that's probably Some Girls album. But I had them all on 8-track in a little case. You're talking the Rolling Stones, man. Ain't nobody want to hear no Boz Scaggs. This is a 3-speaker dash, which has 2 more in the back originally. So that's what you got with the R22 AM 8-track. All right,
let's see what we got.
That Mother Biscuit in there. You can't dance and get it on, get your groove on down at the mill camp to Boz Scaggs. Like somebody gonna put a quarter in the jukebox and come up and dance to JoJo? Low Down, Lend Me a Dime. Ain't nobody gonna dance to that. You gotta have the Stones, man. You gotta be kicking it with the Stones. You gotta be Some Girls, right? Beasts of Burden. You've seen some of the moves. I've patented moves that were based on Jagger's original moves when he did the videos back in the early days of MTV. When you guys don't realize that was all MTV was music videos. It's not that crap they got on now. It was real music, real rock and roll in our times. We were the ancestors of rock and roll. We are the godfathers of rock and roll, okay? Ain't nobody want to dance to Boz Scaggs.